You're live, Matt. But we can wait a little bit before the people have time to join.
No problem. No problem. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope that everyone had a great lunch. Have enjoyed the lunch and is ready for our second Innovative Publisher of the Month webinar series. I want to just give somebody the time to just attend. So I just wait 2 more minutes, I guess, and then we start with this very exciting new opportunity. I think that we can start, I guess. So for anyone who joined just right now, welcome to our special Q4 webinar series with our special guest increasingly from Sri. We're going to explain you why this is the Innovative Publisher of the Month and before peak trading begins for everyone. So that's very important. So thank you all for taking the time to attend this month session, and a special thanks to Increasingly, of course. So for those who don't know me or didn't attend the last meeting, give you a brief introduction who I am. My name is Jelle. I'm a Dutchie based in Amsterdam. I'm a global strategic partnership manager, and especially on the technology consultant side. In my role, I look after all our third-party plugins like Increasingly, and in my role, I basically offer impartial advice to our retailers to boost incremental revenue, sales, average order value. So what I do on a day-to-day basis is analyzing all the programs that are live within Awin to see where the gaps are and to see what can be changed and optimized. So thank you all for attending. I want to give you a warm welcome to Sri. So I'm going to hand over to Sri. I want also to mention that our Q&A is now open for any questions that arise to you during the meeting, and we will handle them after the meeting as well. So Sri, thank you very much for joining. How are you today?
Good, thanks, Jelle. Thank you very much for having me. And hi, everyone. I'm based in London. My name is Sri Sharma. I'm CEO and co-founder of Increasingly. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Increasingly, but actually I'm first going to start with a few insights around peak season that I hope you'll find valuable. I'll probably talk 20-30 minutes, but please do note any questions you have. I'm going to make this interesting because I'm going to show you some stuff that's live too. So Increasingly is an AI that drives increased basket revenue. So we help you grow your AOV, where on your website, where in your marketing like Google Shopping, Facebook, and Instagram. And typically we help retailers boost their site revenue incremental 15%. So imagine having 15% more revenue, and that's what we will be able to provide. We work with a number of brands, some like 70, 80 customers globally. Some of them are on the screen. And I'm very excited by some of our new technology. We've just won a Search Award, Software of the Year, Drum Awards, Software of the Year, and Retail Tech as well. So before I tell you more about Increasingly, let me talk about some of these peak season trends. Like the first one is that we all know Black Friday is not a static thing every year, and it very much is changing. And if you looked at the last 2 years, you will have seen that reports have shown that Black Friday sales have risen by between 5 and 15%. So it's definitely something you want to be part of, and I'm sure you are. But a few key interesting points around Black Friday. The first is that the time window is elongating, it's stretching. It used to be a day, then it was a week, and now it's 3 weeks. But what's really fascinating is the week of Black Friday is no longer the most important week. Actually, the week prior was more important last year for sales. And at the same time, discounting is also changing in that 3-week period. 2 years ago, typically retailers, this is based on averages, 33% of their products would be on discount, and the discount would be 42% discount or more, really aggressive. But last year it really softened, and typical discounts were seen across 33% of products, but they were 15% or more. So retailers are getting more savvy around what to discount and how much to discount. But at the same time, customers are actually pretty smart. And the biggest fear is that you give a big discount, you lose margin, and you end up with disloyal customers. And who really wants, a customer just once? You want a lifetime of customers. You want lifetime value. So how do you get the loyal customer? Well, the first is that you give them a strategic discount. You give them a discount that adds value to them. That's not a trick, but is real value, but it's also value for you. So distressed inventory is good to discount, or offering them discounts on high profit margin products, or doing something called value-based discounting, where you might say, buy this product, buy a second product, and you get 50% off the second product, which is good for them and great for you as a business. That's the first thing. Give them value through discounting, but make it strategic. The second, though, however, is really think about giving the customer what they want globally, not just for Black Friday. And customers say it time and time again. 76% of shoppers say their number one priority is convenience. So if customers want convenience, how do you do that? I'm going to talk about how technology, and particularly increasingly, can help you. But you also need to be differentiated in what you offer customers. So how can you differentiate? Because everyone's going to try and give convenience, right? But not everyone does that very well. Obviously, Amazon does, and that's why we buy from Amazon. Even though Amazon can sometimes be more expensive, we still buy from there because it's so convenient. So this is something you have to do. The other thing is find a way to differentiate. So millennials really care about sustainability. I mean, I think a lot of people do, but particularly there's a growing trend and a growing movement of millennials really caring. It's pretty shocking, but 80% of Black Friday products end up in landfill in a short time window. That's 80% of Black Friday products. That's a shocking stat. But sustainable shopping as a search term has been growing year on year by 650% and climbing. So this could be a really interesting way for you to differentiate your product. What does that do? You maximize revenue at Black Friday, but you start to create a loyal customer because you've given them convenience and you found a way to differentiate. Sustainability can give you that. A really interesting brand that I like is a bike company out of the UK called Frog Bikes. They make bikes just for kids that are lightweight. That's their differentiation. But what they've said is they're committed to using only recycled metal. And that's going to take some time, but that's their commitment. And to start that journey, they've replaced all their pedals, which were made from plastic, which is very unsustainable, to being made from coconut husk, which is quite fascinating. Never heard of that. But it really gets people going, wow, what a great company, and what a way to differentiate. So really think about discount and way to differentiate and removing the barrier of inconvenience, make it convenient. So put into a model, this is a model from a lady called Diane Khan at Wharton, and she talks about being successful in retail, and really she talks about there are 4 pieces of that jigsaw to be successful: brand, experience, low pricing, and being frictionless. Frictionless means convenient. So typically she would talk about pick 2 boxes and focus on them, because you can't focus on all 4 at the same time. I would argue that we really want to focus on frictionlessness, that convenience, because customers again and again say it's their number one reason. 76% of customers say that's their number one reason to buy from you versus somebody else. So that's where increasingly come in. We are solving a very specific problem all around this concept of convenience. And we do it with discounts, we do it without discounts. And let me tell you a little bit about that. Forrester actually said it better than I ever could. And Forrester said that a customer doesn't buy a product. A customer actually buys things to complete an overall experience or project or regime or look. Let me bring that to life. If you're buying mascara, you're buying for a beauty regime. You're never just buying mascara. You're buying mascara, and perhaps later or even then you might need some foundation or some lip gloss. If you're buying a t-shirt, you probably need some shorts to go with it, or you need another t-shirt for your wardrobe. And for us to say that retailers don't sell the overall experience or project, and they focus on selling the product, just the one thing, and they miss out on 10% incremental revenue. And that's where increasingly come in. We were inspired 5 years ago by this simple idea on Amazon, which drives a lot of revenue, 6% incremental revenue for Amazon, which is 14 billion. So I can't promise you the 14 billion, but I can help you get 6%. Frankly, we get between 5 and 15% incremental revenue using AI to help the customer find the project, otherwise known as the bundle. And I'm going to show you that live in a second. So we're on site for the retailer, which is what you see here on the left, but we're also in marketing. And here, for example, in Google Shopping, you can sell the bundle, not just the singular product, but also the bundle. And that's a new innovation from Increasingly that's just won a stack of awards for being world first. And I'm going to show you those. As I said at the start, we offer this through Awin. We've got a great partnership and we work with a ton of advertisers. We also do this on a pay-to-performance basis, so it's super exciting. So a key question should be, does it actually work? And I've got a couple of quick case studies to show you, and then I'm going to show you live. Take US Polo in apparel. They see 7% incremental revenue by putting Increasingly's technology on their product pages. And when Increasingly is used, the AOV is boosted by 33%. That's a big jump. Samsung, they see a 20% lift in incremental basket revenue when this is shown on the site. Avon, similar story, 1.1 more items are purchased per order. We work with Avon in some 11 markets now. So I'm going to jump out of this slide in a second, but to talk about each of our products, I'm going to talk about just two today. I'm going to talk about AI bundling and Google Shopping. So for AI bundling, the key things to know are that it can help you boost revenue by 15%. It's AI driven. It's massively about shopper convenience. And we've already highlighted that, your number one thing that your customers want, 76% of customers say it's their number one priority, is convenience. So it's very much all about convenience, and I'm going to show you why. But you're also in full control. You can override the algorithms. You can put whatever things you want to show together within the Increasingly module. So let me show you that live. So to bring this to life, I'm going to show you Feel Unique. They are a large cosmetics reseller in the UK. They're circa about $250 million US in revenue. They did a split test with Increasingly, and they've measured some 7% incremental by having this deployed on the site, which means if we weren't showing, and we're across all device types, they would miss out on 7% incremental revenue. That's $14 million extra per year they're having as a business because of Increasingly on site. That's a huge, huge win. So here you can see the Increasingly module on the product pages. And what's really cool is algorithmically, we're showing you all the things that you need for your project, and you're given the ability to add it to cart. Convenience for the customer is that I can change the shade really easily. It's all updated here. I could even remove something if I didn't want it. I can then hit add to cart. So it's super easy for me as a customer to use. I get star ratings, I can have more information, and then I can add it to cart. A key question I sometimes get asked is, how is this different to product recommendations? Those you may also like, which tend to be, here we go, you may also like, tend to be at the bottom of the page. They're crucially very different. Amazon talk about the psychology of a customer on a page. When the customer comes to a page like this, they have the opportunity to buy the product. They have the opportunity to sell more to the customer, which is frequently brought together. And this is Amazon's thinking. If the customer scrolls to the bottom, there's a real risk that they're going to quit the website. So now is the time to show them some alternatives that make you want to stay on the site. And hence, these are all random stuff that make you want to browse the site some more. So this is very much a discovery algorithm. This is very much what's called a complementarity algorithm, an attachment algorithm, to show you everything that you need to buy in one go. And algorithmically, this is much harder, because if you don't get this right, nobody's going to hit this button. But I'm fortunate to say it really works well. We're obviously on different device types. So here's Estee Lauder, who are currently in implementation. So hence I'm showing you on a design file. And here you see Estee Lauder. As you scroll down, you see the bundle section, and then you'll be able to add to cart. And here's Samsung, who we talked about earlier. And here's their frequently bought section, powered by increasingly. And you see a similar theme each time, but different because each brand is different. And we show in the mini cart. So when you click this, you get show in the mini cart, and then we show in the cart as well. So this is all powered by increasingly, so that I can show the customer all the other things that they really need in addition to this item, so that they complete their beauty regime, which is the aim of the game is to show them everything they need to be able to complete their beauty regime. So hopefully that gives you a quick tour of Increasingly's AI bundling. Let me talk about one other product. Give me 1 second for this to...
Three.
Yes.
So, yeah, based on the AI bundling on site, I got a question from a crowd already. So
yes.
how have you measured the overall incrementality value when you work together with retailers?
How have I measured it? So absolutely good question. So when we work with large retailers, there are two different ways to do this. When we work with large retailers, and we're talking 50 million revenue plus, they will typically want to do a split test, which means 50% of traffic flows through increasingly, 50% of traffic isn't shown increasingly. So in this example, 50% of traffic was shown this section and the other placements. We're in 3 places: PDP, product page, the mini cart, and at the cart. 50% of traffic were not shown increasingly, so this was not visible at all. And they measured the incremental revenue. And they did this on each device as well, and they measured it in cumulative. That's how it's done. So it's very, very accurate.
All right, so when a retailer wants to start, it's also possible to say, like, hey, we tested on 50% of the traffic and then 50% not.
We do that with large retailers because there's a lot of work that goes into a split test. We've got a proxy which we can run for customers, and we give that a standard called an AOV delta report, where we measure the incremental AOV uplift, and we can do that on our end, and we do that for all plans at standard.
Okay, great, thank you.
Glad you jumped in. Any other questions, please do jump in. Absolutely happy to help. So the other product I wanted to talk about today, and there are several, but I just want to focus on 2 very important products and high revenue products. Here we go. Let me present this one. Is increasingly for Google Shopping. So whilst it's loading, the concept is that you currently have ads in Google Shopping of individual products. Why not show the bundles in Google Shopping? And what this can do for you is drive 20, and actually our best results have been 31% more Google Shopping revenue at a return on ad spend that's at your current campaign or even better. And what it does for you is it helps you have more listings, which pushes out your competitions. It's AI powered, or you decide. And it's a very standalone experience. It's not right across the website, and I'm going to show you this so that'll make sense. So it's a very standalone product which can really boost the revenue that you get from Google Shopping. And here you see an example of a bundle. And just for your interest, I've shown here for Facebook, here's a normal product, but here's a bundle ad, the phone plus the headphones. So let me show you this live. So I talked earlier about a home improvement project. So let's just take this as the first example. Travis Perkins is a very large retailer in the UK. They have lots of businesses around home improvement, and their site is travisperkins.co.uk. So what you can see here is if I look up timber, you of course see a normal ad. But then what you start to see are ads for bundles. Here's a bundle ad, here's another bundle ad. Actually, there's a lot of bundle ads, as you can see. Here's a normal ad again. These are all bundle ads, as you can see, because there's 2 items, or sometimes there's 4 items, or 3 items. What's happening here is that the agency or the advertiser themselves is running a campaign in Google AdWords, a Google Shopping campaign. For the normal, what's called a standard campaign for these singular products, they're running one campaign with one feed. Now they're running a second campaign with a new feed called the bundle feed, which we provide to them. So they're still in control of their campaign. They just literally have a feed from us for running this campaign. And this campaign allows them to have double the inventory. And it's all highly relevant bundles. That's one part. So if I kind of show you for another client, here's a homeware brand. They sell plates called Monsoon Fleur small plates. And as we scroll through, you will see singular items like this. Here's a Monsoon Fleur medium plate or a dinner plate. But then you start to see bundles like the plate, the side plate, and the bowl. This is powered by Increasingly. So their agency run this campaign. But a key question has to be, when you click on this, or when you click on this, what happens? Because you can't take them to a normal product page. And actually what happens is that the customer is taken to a landing page that's powered by Increasingly. So if you check it out up here, it says /bundles. So the client gives us one page, a blank page called bundles, and Increasingly put all this content on the page. So the customer can then come here and go, I want this, I don't want this one perhaps, and then I'll proceed through and I'll buy the items that I want. So it's a very clean proposition where you get a feed into Google Shopping, so you can run a bundle campaign, and you get a dynamic landing page, one landing page, powered by Increasingly, so that whatever ad the customer clicks, they come to this landing page with the right products shown on the page so that they can buy the products and boost the AOV. So this hopefully gives an overview of the Google Shopping product. So I'm coming kind of close to the end of the presentation, so just bear with me for a couple more slides. But is there any question, Yella, on that one that's been shouted out already?
Not specifically on the in-marketing AI collections for Google Shopping, but just a question from the crowd: what differentiates Increasingly from other tech providers that offer similar products? So
I would say a couple of things. First off is I would love to hear what they mean by similar products, because bundling has been proven in the last 4.5 years that we've stood very differentiated in the market. The closest to what we do is product recommendations, but as we've shown here, product recommendations is a discovery algorithm, which is about showing you lots of different interesting things to click on. Bundling is a precision algorithm to drive people to buy everything they need for their project, beauty regime, or look. So algorithmically, we've actually been very differentiated, which is why we've won multiple awards and won lots of clients in the last 4.5 years. And if we talk about Google Shopping bundling, that's actually a world first, and hence we've won many awards this year because we've only launched that product 9 months ago. So I'd be very happy to hear, which brands or what products they're comparing us to. But what stands us apart is our algorithmic precision and the fact that we're very focused on one specific problem, which is you want more revenue per customer, you want more AOV, and that's what Increasingly does. Very simply put.
All right. So maybe in line with this question, and so when a retailer has a similar solution in place already on their website, why should we change to Increasingly?
So as I've kind of said, typically the retailer doesn't tend to have a similar product. They might have recommendations on the website, but 9 out of 10 times they don't have any bundling on their website. and Amazon does both. So this is product recommendations. Amazon does that. This is bundling. Most people don't do that, but Amazon do it. So again, it comes down to what we mean by similar. So, you know, all e-commerce technology is in some ways similar because it's all on the website, but they all serve slightly different, have different goals. And our goal is to boost more AOV. So if you want more AOV, definitely come and talk to me.
Great.
Yeah. So just wrapping up then, just a couple of extra slides worth knowing about. Oops, one second. All right. So typically, based on our costs, clients see a 50 times ROI or more. We tend to produce 5 to 15% incremental revenue. So coming back to the point of what's the purpose of increasingly, it's very clear, drive more revenue. If we don't do that for you, don't use us. Our retailers have actually asked customers if the functionality helps the end user, the end customer. And actually, our customers have told us that their end customers have said it's really helpful. So 92% customer satisfaction. And we've got so many security approvals now that we're very much enterprise grade. Trust me, working with Boots, Walgreen, or Samsung, or Estee Lauder, you have to be very, very secure, and we are. These are some of the brands that we work with, and you've seen a little bit of them already. I've talked about awards that we're proud of. So again, this plays to the point of what's so special about Increasingly. Increasingly only wins awards with our customers if we're doing something different and if we're driving significant revenue. Otherwise, nobody would put us forward for an award. And I think if the question was asked, you know, because you're going to be going to some of your advertisers, you know, and the advertisers can say, what's special? Really, it comes back to that point around if you want more AOV, give us a chance to show you why it's different to what you do, because 9 out of 10 times it's totally different. How do you get started? It's super simple. We're a tag on site, so we can go in through the Awin master tag, and we've done this with many Awin advertisers. We ask for a product feed from the advertiser, and they all have one because they all do Google Shopping, which is a product feed. And we ask for 6 months of historic sales data, which is a very, very simple export from the advertiser's e-commerce platform. There's no customer data required. It's just the orders and what was in the order. So there's no sensitive information. Every client gives us this, it's not a problem. So that's what you need to get live. 3 things. We do all the other work, the design, the technical build, the testing, the QA, all of that is done by Increasingly. So just in closing, you know, in honor of Black Friday, but in advance of Black Friday, we too have got an offer for Awin advertisers. So we're offering 50% off the first year's commission or fixed fee, depending on what the deal structure is. And this offer actually should be ending end of September, because we're only doing this session now, we're going to extend it to the 15th of October. It doesn't mean you have to be live by then. It just means that we have to have the agreement in place to move forward together. So it's a huge incentive, but we're counting on the lifetime value. Remember we talked about earlier about how you want to win today, but you also want to keep the loyal customer. We're counting on the loyalty because we're going to add value. So hopefully that was interesting in terms of some of the insights and also interesting in terms of what Increasingly can do for you. Please let me know if there's any questions.
Of course, thanks, Reed. Thanks for the huge, grateful insights, and thank you for showcase what Increasingly can mean for all the retailers that are attended this meeting. So we got a couple of questions about the incremental value.
Yes,
that's also the great question. So here we go. So when you measure the incremental value, is that on the products or the incremental or on the revenue on the A/B testing?
In the A/B testing, the key metrics are AOV, but the biggest metric is revenue per session or revenue per customer. And just so you know, this was measured by the end customer, because when they're large scale, we can do this too, But when they're large-scale customers, they tend to want to measure it, and they measure their fundamental goal always is revenue per session and revenue per customer, because that's what ultimately counts. So everything I've said in terms of the uplifts are based on revenue per session, typically, to be honest.
All right, great. So I think we covered both of the questions, because we had another one. Is it similarly in line, I guess? So is it measured when a customer purchases the extra suggested products in the bundle feature, or is it based on an entire basket, the incremental value? It's
based on splitting traffic, and then because that's the best way to measure it. It's the hardest and more complex to set up, but it's the ultimate test, right? You randomize traffic, and you show 50% the increasingly modules, and you don't show it to the other 50%. And that is the hardest test you can have, and that's what large custom advertisers want to do, and that's where we've been most successful. And you know, I've given one example with Feel Unique. There are more examples: Avon, Travis Perkins, Samsung, many.
Okay, yeah, nice one. Yeah, I know, because they're all Awin clients, of course. So I see the incremental value and how much increasingly proves value to a whole program as well. So if we are switching to the marketing Google Shopping solution, so do the bundles exclude products that are out of stock? So so maybe that covers both the solutions, of course.
Yeah. Yes, for Google Shopping and for AR bundling, it excludes what's out of stock. So for Google Shopping, I'll put it back on the screen. Technically, what happens is, for Travis Perkins, they update in Google Merchant Center their feed 3 times a day. And what we do is we provide our feeds to them at that same frequency, so that we remove products that are out of stock, and then only show bundles for what's in stock, because you want to give that good experience to the customer for when they click on this, so that they land at a page and the products are there. There are a couple of other ways to do it, but that's the simple answer.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I hope that answered the question of the crowd, of course. So maybe I can cover this one, because it's how would we implement increasingly on our website? We have very limited tech time available. So from Awin perspective, when you've been set up in the network, you have set up Awin Master Tag, if it's right, if you set up right. So then increasingly is basically a plugin on your website. So we as Awin do the integration for you, because the integration already has been done within our Master Tag. So the only thing we need to do, and correct me if I'm wrong, Sri, is designs, how look and feel, if it all matches your designs, and have a check about the product feed as well, if it's all matching the things that's required.
Yep, that's pretty much it. So we take your product feed, we ask for 6 months of historic data, which is a very simple few clicks of your e-com platform, and we use that to train the algorithms. We do the design work, and this was a good example of design work that was signed off by Estee Lauder. This is a design file in Figma, which is interactive, so they can really see what's it going to look like, and then they can actually interact with it, and they can go, oh, okay, that's what it's going to look like, and here's increasingly again, etc. So we do all of that. We do all of the development. All you have to do is put the tag on, but hey, Awin do that for you. Yeah,
and I can do the manual check as well for you if you have the Master Tag in place. So no problem if you can share that with me. So then in a line to that as well. So how long is the implementation time? So yeah, for Awin perspective, it's just a flip on a switch. So basically that can be done in a couple of days. But when is increasingly literally live on the retailer's website?
Yeah. So we say to advertisers, obviously we assume that we have the agreement in place, and then once the advertiser has put our tag on, they have provided us a complete feed, and we'll give them feedback on their feed if there's anything missing or if we need to crawl it. And they've provided this, and they've signed off our designs, which we build for you. You just need to do a meeting with us to sign them off. Then we say it takes us 4 weeks to build everything, because we've got to build everything from that point. So 4 weeks from you guys giving us the assets, which are these things.
So if you want to be ready before peak season, it's great to book in a meeting right now, I guess, with you guys to see what the next steps would be. So also a question on the incrementality, I guess. So 5 to 15% incremental value. Is it an average, or do all clients fall somewhere in that range?
So clients tend to fall somewhere in that range between 5 and 15%, and that's why we're quite honest about things. depending on the vertical you're in and depending on your size and your shape of products that you sell, it's either going to be more or it's going to be less. And so there is always a range, right? So 5 to 15%. And just to be completely helpful, our target customer is anyone who sells 50 products or more and is a multi-product retailer. If you sell only 3 products, we are not the right technology for you. Because you don't really need our machine learning capability, and I haven't really talked much about that. But if you have 50 products or more, and you're a multi-product retailer, i.e., you sell multiple things, then we can really help you boost your revenue.
Right, short and sweet. So about the Google Shopping feature, this is a question that I also got a lot from when we talk with increasingly with partners, but maybe it's a good one as well for the crowd. So does it compete with your own, since we already do it?
So you will end up with 2 campaigns, right? Because you've already got your what's known as your standard campaign running, and now you'll run a second campaign. So in technicality, yes, you could say it's competing because you can choose to have the bundles show on the same effective keywords because of the titles that you give to your bundles. But you have a big lever that you can play with, which is your maximum bid price. So if you want it to have more real estate, you have to increase your bids. The benefit of that, you push out your competitors. If you don't want to compete with your other campaign, that's fine. Just reduce your CPCs. And then you won't show as many bundle ads, but you'll still be in the results. So you have full control because it's just another campaign for you that you have full control of. But it's all incremental.
Great one. So maybe the last one from the crowd, I guess, because then we can wrap it up, or I see some questions coming in, so it's not the last one. But what would be the cost to use increasingly on a CPA base, and what cookie time do you work with as a minimum?
I think those kinds of things are really dependent on your size and shape. So, what we would say quite openly is it'll be in your normal range, CPA range. We work with, just again, I should have said this earlier when I explained our target customer, someone who is $3 million US dollars, pounds, or euros in the last 12 months of revenue or more is our target customer. So if you've got 3 million plus in on-site revenue, then we can add value. If you're much smaller, then the extra revenue we can add would not be meaningful enough for you. But if it's above that, then we will work within your standard CPA range and your standard cookie window range.
Yeah. So I think this was all it, Sri. So I want to thank everybody for your time. I now make an announcement for the link where you can immediately book a one-on-one with increasingly right away for 30 minutes. You say, hey, it's very interesting, especially if you want to be ready before peak season. I think if you are what Sri said, if you sell multiple products on your website, could be from great value. And if it's of an incremental of on average 5 to 15%, I won't miss out on it. So please feel free to book in a meeting right away. The calendar link is already in the chat. So we hope to see you very soon. And if you have any other questions, you can please reach out to me directly. That's jelle.ploeg@awin.com. I will write it also in the chat because it's a typical Dutch name. It's very hard for people to do. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out to me directly via email. Thank you for all for your time, and thank you the Nordic Market again for arranging such a great innovative Publish of the Month series. And we hope to see you in the next meeting as well. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Thanks so much, everyone. Thanks, Jelle. Bye.
Bye.